Is it live right now? Oh, okay. Right. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Is it working? Like, is everything okay? Is it live? Is it live right now? It seems to be. Okay, let me just begin. I don't know if the speaker is working well. It seems like our microphone is not working very well today. And it's the same for our camera as well. But we'll just go ahead with it and see how it goes. For now, okay. So for today, same thing. We will be holding this regular session. That is to explain about how ActiveGuard work because well, basically ActiveGuard has already been developed, is working, and we are already marketing it on the market, and the downloads are going well. So now we just want to promote it to more people, and so that more people will understand what exactly is ActiveGuard about and how ActiveGuard can be used to protect you and your computer systems. So let me just adjust the things a bit. Right. Okay. Well, we just go ahead with the presentation. If you feel free to ask any questions that you have on the social media platform that you're viewing on right now, because this session well is for presenting ActiveGuard, but more importantly is for us to connect to our customers to help you to understand how does ActiveGuard work so that you can use it to improve your cybersecurity. Basically, the main message here is that we are using the phone more for our everyday task, and it is very easy to take this information your personal data away from you if you are careless about it. So what ActiveGuard does is that it protects you, it improves your cybersecurity level, you and your families and your colleagues' personal data in case hackers they use this kind of information against you. So let me just move on to the next slide. I think it's very clear that the basically the smartphone is spying on you. And let me just wait for it to load. Right. So what this slide is basically what I have just shared. That is this smartphone that we have, everybody is using it for their everyday lives. You do banking transactions, you buy things on it, you attend classes on it, you do assignments on it, and basically you do TikTok, you create TikTok and YouTube videos on it. So it is basically your company's everything, and a lot of information, corporate personal information, goes through and forth on these devices. So what ActiveGuard does is that it protects you. It protects you from information leaks. So let me just move on to the next slide. It's a bit slow today, but it's all right. If you have any question, remember to um, type it in the social media platform. Okay, let me just go back and explain. So now, because we are in the age of mobile phones, and on top of that, we have AI. So this AI is actually accelerating the rate of attack on mobile devices and laptops, regardless whether you're using Apple devices, you're using Windows devices, or Android devices. So let me just explain why. Okay, let me just give you some statistics. That is, in 2024, transiting to 2025, there was about 59% increase in the rate of attack on mobile phones. Then moving, that was 59% from 24 to from the year 2024 to the year 2025. Then moving from 2025 till now, it is the rate of attack has increased to 151%, right? 151%. And that is a lot of increase from the previous 59%. And our research has shown that this is largely attributed to AI, because AI is available to everybody, is also available to you and me, as well as malicious actors and hackers. So they are attacking very quickly. They're using AI to fast forward their attacks, and this is like it is becoming a growing threat. So this is why we have to be very careful about the well, we still have to process information on our mobile phones, and increasingly more people will use their mobile phones for leisure, for business, more than laptops, right? Laptops is mainly for processing of really heavy duty stuff, but in terms of communication and passing of information and so on, is still going to take place on the mobile phone. That is why we have to pay a lot of attention to our mobile phone, regardless whether it's an Apple phone, Android phone, from Korea, the phone whether it's from Korea, China, or whatever, you still have to protect it. Now, now just go through some of the ways that hackers and malicious actors actually exploit the functions on your phone in order to hack your data. So one of the function is the camera. They love to hack the camera, and this is especially so if you download application not from Google Play Store, you download application not from the Apple Play Store, not from Apple Store, Microsoft Store. What basically you do is that you downloaded some app from some dubious website, and that app itself has been placed there by a malicious actor He doesn't want to place it on Google Store. He doesn't want to place it on Microsoft Store, because if you want to go through the official Microsoft checks, which is very stringent, and the hacker, if he wants to plant some malicious codes inside his app, he would have to go through so many checks, policy checks, and all the permissions that he requires to be on the phone. For example, he wants to have access to your camera. He can't just have access to your camera for no reason at all. He has to explain to Google why he needs this access, and he has to demonstrate to the Google executives why this access to camera is so important to this app, or maybe he have access to a location, and why is it so important to the users of this app. So he doesn't want to go through that. So in order to sidestep that, he will want to put this app on some dubious website, and then make it very attractive, and then he says that, oh, this has particular functions that is so good that you can't find it if uh, Google doesn't allow it because it's so good. Then you go and download it, bam, you have installed the malicious code in your phone, and from there they try to exploit your camera. And by exploiting your camera, they can see what's around you, and they know where you are. They can, pick up bits and pieces of information from here and there, and then they can slowly form a scam, or some kind of scam against you. So this is one of the methods that hackers one of the functions that hackers love to exploit. Then moving forward is another type of exploitation, that is hackers, they like to spy on you through the microphone. Same thing if you downloaded apps from some dubious website, or if someone sends you an SMS link and you go and download, you click on it. Once you click on it, it executes. The hackers can start to listen to what you say. And this is very important, especially for corporate people, because a lot of business information are leaked from this kind of exploitation. So, for example, competitors, they love to know when is your product launch. They want to know what goes into your product. So they'll be listening in to your product discussions to understand what goes into the product, what is the processes. Then once they learn about it, they will apply it to their products as well. Then on the other hand, they also love to know about things like when is the product launch. So they will launch their product on the same day to ensure that they take away your market share. So these are the type of things that they would love to do by exploiting your microphone. Then next, right. So this is very important for, especially for both personal individuals and individual users and corporate, because this clipboard basically is a function that allows you to cut and paste. So what you most people, they like to cut and paste like three types of things. For example, banking numbers, because banking numbers are very long, they cannot memorize it, so they tend to just cut it and paste it. The same thing goes for passwords and also for OTPs. Once you get your OTP from the SMS, you cut that particular number and then you paste it on the login screen and so on. So what the hackers and malicious actors do is that during this kind of cut and paste action, they will intercept what is that they'll intercept what you are pasting, all right, what you are cutting and what you're pasting. If you happen to cut the password, and after you paste the password, right, the password still stays on your computer, it still stays on your phone. So the hackers and the malicious actors, they will go in and take that password, and the next time when you log off, right, they will use that password to log on to your social media account. So these are the type of things that hackers, they love to exploit: cameras, microphones, clipboard. Okay, so why do hackers do it, right? So as I told you, Clipboard, they store important information, like passwords, banking details, OTPs. This allows hackers to take over your social media accounts. Then they'll use it to do identity theft. They'll use it to do fraud. So that's why you have to be very careful about it. But it all boils down to money, because by stealing your banking accounts, by stealing your banking informations, they can sell it on the dark web. There's a lot of this kind of transactions on the dark web, selling of accounts, selling of passwords, and they can use it to conduct fraud as well, using your personal details to take a loan from somebody in the bank, or maybe use your personal take over your social media account, then borrow money from somebody. So it's mainly driven by money. Okay, so why do hackers do it? Right? So they want to access your social media sites. They want to access your account, Facebook account, LinkedIn account, and so on. They want to have access to your emails to understand what's going on in your personal and corporate life. They want to take over email so that they can email other people to request certain things from them, such as information, money, and so on. They want to destroy your reputation because you happen to be their competitor. You could be a competitor in influencer videos or business and so on. So your identity is actually their payday. Somehow or other, if they manage to steal it, they will be able to gain something from it, be it money, destruction of your reputation, and there's so many things that they can do once they have access to all this information. So, and also, hackers they like to target corporates, because you can, one, like for example hospitals, they have the data of so many patients, and those are very important data, and some of this data can be impeding their surgery operation, without which the doctors cannot operate on them. So there is that urgency that once this kind of data gets hacked and encrypted, the doctors and the hospitals, they want to get it decrypted as soon as possible, so that they can operate on the patient to minimize life losses. So these are the things that hackers like to target. They also like to find out if, politicians, if they have any strange illnesses that once they have access to, they want to release it to the public, so that the public will be, in a very deep shock that, hey, this particular leader has some illnesses, he won't be able to carry out his job well, and nobody, the vote for his for his political campaign will go down. Or like what I've said earlier, things that goes into making your product, they want to find out about that, so that they can use those information to make products to yours. Or they want to launch a product on the same date, they want to sabotage your product launch. So something along that line. There's so many things that they can do with it. So if there's any questions that you want to know about ActiveGuard, feel free to type it in the social media site, whatever platform that you're consuming this content on, right? So who do they target? All right. They target all kinds of people. And even if, including everyday people like you and me, well, maybe not you, but they target people like me. But even if I think that I am not important enough for hackers to target, the hackers will still target you. So the thing is, don't ever think that you are not important. You must always take the steps to protect your personal information, in case someday some hackers hold you ransom to something like, to find to your banking details, your transactions, and so on. Then professionals, they like to target executives, lawyers, doctors. Doctors, I've said it earlier. Lawyers, they have access to a lot of information, so many information, because they are processing the cases for so many politicians, business professionals, and some of these things could be, not so good to expose to the public, and then it will affect their business, it will affect their political career. And so that is why the hackers, they want access to this kind of information so that they can extort money from you. They threaten that they have access to certain information that you have. They've taken videos of you doing something on your phone. They took some videos from your phone as well, or something along that line. And with that, they try to extort money from you to prevent you, to make sure that, to make you feel scared about losing your reputation. Then, of course, hackers, they love to target high profile individuals because, you know like what I say, government officials, they might have some uh, very complex dealing that involves multiple parties, and this kind of dealings can it could be very sensitive to release at certain stages. Not that they won't release, but they might release at the later stages. But during certain stages, it could be very sensitive, and it could be disruptive to the current policies, or it might cause disruption to the peace in the society. So hackers love to target all this kind of information because they want to use it to scare the people in the society. They want to use it to extort the they wanted to use it to drive fear into the people, into the government officials, the business professionals, politicians, influencers. And influencers, they always put on a good front, but well, there are some private moments. So hackers, they sometimes, through all these different kinds of functions on the phone, camera, microphone, and so on, they can and will actually capture private moments that through all these phone devices, laptop devices, and from there they can use that to extort influencer, celebrities, politicians, and so on. Moving on, if nothing, you cannot assume that nothing is happening just because everything is silent. You must always assume that they already live inside your phone, and you have to take the precaution to protect your data, because it's very easily to fall for malicious apps. This kind of to end up in this kind of situation, because you never know when you might have clicked on uh, a malicious link or visited a malicious website which executed some kind of codes on your phone. And this enabled the hackers to use the microphone and the cameras and so many other functions on you and your phone, and stealing your data silently and just waiting for the right moment. Maybe person A could be a nobody person A could be a nobody at this point of time, but they keep collecting information on him. And one day, once he becomes famous, they will dump all the different kinds of, they will expose and tell him that, these are all the things that you have done. We want a certain sum of money from you. If not, we are going to expose all these information on the web to destroy your career. So these are very common scenarios that might happen. It will happen to a lot of people. So we have to be very careful about it. ActiveGuard. ActiveGuard is digital cybersecurity software for Android phone. It is one of our cybersecurity software, and it um, it is one of our cybersecurity software, and it leverages um, different kinds of methods in order to protect you. Let me just go through the different kinds of uh, levers that ActiveGuard has in order to give you that level of cybersecurity protection. Okay, So we have real-time detection. So we have a real-time detection which is done by this particular function called the intrusion detection system. So it works behind in the background quietly, silently. So it is monitoring malicious operation. And once it detects malicious operation, it will surface and alert you so that you know what to do with it. All right. Then next we have a firewall. So this firewall works hand in hand with our intrusion detection system. So once the intrusion detection system detects something malicious, and it will alert you, you can use the firewall to block its operation. At the same time, you can also uninstall the program as well. So it depends on what you decide to do with that particular alert. Then of course, I was talking about this network IDS. Well, this network IDS is it detects all these malicious operations, like some software that you are not using at the moment. You downloaded it, but you're not using at all. But somehow or rather, it just stays silently behind in the background, transmitting a lot of information. You don't know what information is that, but it just keeps on transmitting information to somewhere, to some external server in Russia or China or something like this. So you're going to question. So the software, this intrusion detection system, is going to question why is it doing this, and it's going to categorize its threat level: low, medium, high. Then from there, you can see that which app is causing all this internet traffic in the background and what is the severity of the threat. Then from there, you can decide whether or not to block it, to uninstall it, or to block the internet connection for this particular app. Okay. And when all these things are going on, you are assured that there is, well, there's some data that I have to be upfront about it, that there's some data actually goes into our server when you use ActiveGuard. Because like, let's say if your system detects certain malicious codes, malicious apps, malicious viruses, and this will alert our system. But that only happens if you decide to let us have this information. So if you don't want us to have this information, you can go into settings, turn it off. Then once you turn it off, all this information won't come to our server, and all the information will stay locally on your phone. We respect you, we respect your privacy, and we understand that some people, they really want to have um, full privacy when it comes to this kind of software, and we will enable this environment for you while protecting you as well. But on the other hand, if you want to contribute to the cybersecurity, if you keep everyone safe, then you can leave it on so that um, only this kind of information, detection of malicious code, software, viruses, will come to us. It will not send any information about you, about your phone, your location, and anything else. It will just be this kind of information. So once you use ActiveGuard, I would say that it will give you a lot of a peace of mind as to what is happening to your phone, because previously you weren't so protected. But once you have ActiveGuard, we are optimizing your cybersecurity status. We are giving you as much protection as we can with our advanced Singaporean technology. So we also, this ActiveGuard, it also leverages our AI cybersecurity engine, which learns and grows intelligently. It becomes more and more intelligent every single day. So it leverages 4 million, and every day is growing by thousands of signals every day. So it's becoming more intelligent, it's becoming more powerful. And when you use ActiveGuard, especially if you are a premium user, then you will tap directly on this AI cybersecurity engine to further enhance the protection that you have. So it gives you seamless protection 24/7, and all the data, all the traffic stays on your devices unless you want to contribute to the cybersecurity ecosystem. Now, let me just explain to you what happens behind the scene. That is how this ActiveGuard work. So it's going to analyze the ongoing traffic and applications that is working in the background of your phone. And then from there, it's going to find whether or not there's any threats in all these kind of all these kind of operations. Then once it does, right, it will like there's going to be you're going to be presented. It's going to be highlighted to you, alert you that hey, there's some malicious operations going on, and it'll surface to you. You can take some actions on it. We won't take it automatically for you because maybe it just happens that you trust this particular app. You want this app to work, even though it has a bit of dubious traffic on it. So we leave it to you whether or not you want to use the ActiveGuard firewall to block it. If you do, yes, okay, that's great. Just block it. But if you do trust it, then once you block it, then the firewall will consistently block it. And the good thing about this ActiveGuard firewall is that unlike other firewall do drop due to certain circumstances. But when it drops, sometimes the firewall do not come back up. So when it drops, the traffic just goes ahead, and it means that your phone is compromised. But ActiveGuard is being built in such a way that once it drops, it quickly, as soon as possible, goes right back up in order to protect you. So apart from all this real-time block, right? You can also, when they surface that certain apps are behaving maliciously, and you can also trust it. So once you add it to the trust list, so this app won't be blocked, this app won't be monitored, then you'll just go on normally as usual. Then privacy first, no data is going to leave, no traffic is going to leave your phone unless you want it to. So it's going to be very safe, and it's always active. And when it's always active, it doesn't consume too much of your battery because we have designed ActiveGuard to be very to optimize your battery while enhancing the 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 monitoring operation that it undertakes 24/7. So you can download ActiveGuard for your Android phone right now on the Google Play Store, and very soon we will be releasing ActiveGuard for Windows and ActiveGuard for iOS. We are quickly developing all these softwares right now, and there are other products that we are jointly developing as well. We will be releasing all these products to improve your privacy, to improve your cybersecurity status, and so you can download it at Google Play Store. Now, let me just go through some of the commonly asked questions by the audience, the customers. So, does ActiveGuard slow down my phone? Okay, and then the other one, the first one is under performance and speed. Does ActiveGuard slow down? Uh, then the third one is optimize. Does it optimize for minimal battery impact? So for the first and second question, under performance and speed, yes. I mean, no, it doesn't compromise your battery because we are constantly reviewing how the software how the software fares in terms of battery optimization. We don't want it to consume too much battery. In fact, we are constantly reviewing it to ensure that it doesn't go beyond a certain threshold. Then we have reviewed it several times to make it very efficient. We are also constantly reviewing the scanning speed of the antivirus. We are constantly reviewing the scanning monitoring system of the intrusion detection system because it works 24/7. So we make sure that it's very battery efficient while it provides you with the maximum cybersecurity protection. So let me just go to the second performance and speed. Does it run seamlessly in the background? Yes, it does, only if you want it to. Because if you download ActiveGuard, you have the option whether or not to turn the intrusion monitoring system on or off. Same thing for firewall, but we recommend that, but based on what we have done for battery optimization, we recommend that you turn on firewall and the intrusion detection system behind, because the algorithm is written in such a way that the firewall is going to work best when the intrusion detection system is both turned on, so that it augments, it supports each other's operation. But you can still turn off your firewall as and when you like it if you want certain app to operate without the firewall protection. But if you really want to do that, what I suggest is that because we have designed it in such a way that the firewall doesn't consume much battery, right? So what we suggest is that you leave the firewall on, then go down to the individual app level within the app itself, the ActiveGuard app, and choose which file and which application can go through even when the firewall is on. So you turn it on, but you allow a particular app to go through to use the internet. So that would be best, because once you turn the firewall on, everything has to go through the firewall. It makes detection so much better, and the intrusion detection system is going to work so much better, right? So okay, so go on to the segment under privacy and data. How often does it update? Okay, so for the for the for the base users, those who didn't subscribe, they can use the base protection to protect themselves. Then you don't have to pay for it, but we will update the scanning system as and when it's needed. So we check carefully what is going on in the market right now. Then we update it accordingly. Then for premium subscriber, they will be tapping fully on the AI cybersecurity engine, which is growing stronger every day. And well, basically you can update it as often as you want, but the main thing is to update it once every week. All right. So the next question is my data safe? Yes, absolutely. As I shared, there's no person use your devices without you knowing about it. So it's either you allowed it to happen or you don't allow it to happen. So it's all up to you. The decision is up to you. Now, thank you for your attention during this webinar. We will be organizing this webinar regularly so that we can understand, we can attend to our customers directly. Then on top of this, I know that this is a recurring webinar, so the content will largely be the same, but it's more for customers to talk to us. If there's any question, we will quickly attend to the customers. Then apart from this, right, we are going to design more interesting webinars so that we can share updated information like parenting and so on, corporate privacy laws, anything that happens to businesses, parenting, anything that's related to your life, your privacy. So we will be organizing according to topics. Then we'll be organizing all these webinars for you to learn about it. But at the same time, we will still be organizing this webinar that is mainly to cater to the questions, the bread and butter questions, and also to let people understand what exactly is. Thank you for your attention. I'm Han Jun, CTO of Active Circuit Tree, and I look forward to meeting all of you guys more often. And remember, even when after this webinar has ended, if you have any questions, just type it on the social media platform. Just leave it as a comment on the social media platform that you have viewed this content on, and we would be glad to attend to you as soon as possible. Thank you for attention, and I hope to see you again.